From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aishah Ashraf. Calling it a terrorist act, Ambassador Huckabee urges swift justice for Saifullah Musallet, a 20-year-old American beaten to death in the occupied West Bank. This and more in today's show. Stay tuned. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal has introduced a bill to stop immigration and customs enforcement from detaining or deporting American citizens. It aims to protect citizens from wrongful detention. She called the agency rogue and accused it of kidnapping people off the streets. Jayapal said ICE lacks accountability and must be reined in by Congress. Her move follows widespread immigration raids across the U.S. under President Donald Trump's crackdown. Mass protests have erupted, especially in California. Thousands of National Guard troops and Marines are supporting ICE operations in Los Angeles. The African country of Eswatini has confirmed the arrival of 5 foreign inmates deported from the United States. The government says they are being held in isolation. The transfer follows months of high-level talks between Eswatini, the U.S., and the International Organization for Migration. In Eswatini, along with various regions in Africa, there has been an outburst of anger regarding the arrival of foreign deportees from the United States. Eswatini, also known by its former official name, Swaziland, is a landlocked country in southern Africa, bordered by South Africa and Mozambique. A Homeland Security agent has testified that he was ordered not to inform a Turkish student that her visa had been revoked. Patrick Cunningham said his division was directed to prioritize the case of doctoral student Rumeysa Öztürk after she co-wrote an op-ed supporting Palestinian freedom. Öztürk's lawyer, Mahsa Khanbabe, called the silent revocation a misuse of immigration law. A Vermont judge released Öztürk on bail, citing a lack of evidence for her detention. The U.S. ambassador to Israel has urged a swift investigation into the killing of American citizen Saifullah Musallet, who was beaten to death by Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank. Ambassador Mike Huckabee called the killing a criminal and terrorist act, marking the strongest U.S. statement yet. Musallet, a 20-year-old from Tampa, Florida, was visiting family when the incident occurred. Rights group Yesh Din says more than 93% of such cases go unpunished. Here is a Muslim News report by Dawood Warnsby.
Next to a cafe in this Tampa strip mall in Florida, he ran an ice cream shop. With a playful use of language and a reference to a 100-year-old American pop song, he named his ice cream parlor Ice Screaming. In tragic irony, this young, simple ice cream seller died screaming for help. His name is Saifullah Musallet, known to friends and family as Saif. Jewish settlers lynched him in his ancestral village in Palestine, along with another Palestinian friend, Mohammed al-Sharaibi. Saif was still alive when Israeli military and Jewish settlers blocked ambulances from reaching him. Settlers even shattered the windshield of an ambulance. When an ambulance was finally allowed in, there was no life left to be saved. CNN says the settlers even attacked their crew as they tried to reach the site. Saif was just weeks away from celebrating his 21st birthday. Saif Musallet's story is the story of many Palestinians. On the holy day of Friday, Saif was traveling to Sinjil, where the family owns land. This is when they were attacked by settlers wielding rocks, clubs, and guns. These Jewish settlements are considered illegal by the United States, but Israel keeps building them, pushing Palestinians out, cutting their olive trees, blocking their water, occupying their land. It happens on a daily basis, and Palestinians are killed on a daily basis. On the day Saif died, 47 Palestinians were killed. 45 in Gaza, including those in line for food, and 2 killed in the West Bank, including Saif. Here is Hiba Abdurrahim of CARE Tampa.
I want to point out that this is not an isolated tragedy. There's a devastating pattern of Americans being killed in Israel, brutalized and murdered with impunity by Israeli forces and settlers.
Israeli forces have killed at least 9 U.S. citizens since 2022, including veteran Al Jazeera reporter Shireen Abu Akleh. Saif was born and raised in Port Charlotte, Florida, about 30 miles north of Fort Myers. He was an all-American boy, in love with burgers, in love with Muhammad Ali and the music of Michael Jackson, cars, and of course, ice cream. Despite being raised in Florida, he always carried a little of Palestine in his heart. He kept visiting his ancestral land, kept praying at Al-Aqsa Mosque. There are about 15 million Palestinians in the world. They have been kicked around since 1948. Some have been made refugees 4 or 5 times. But wherever they go, they keep Palestine in their heart. There are 700,000 Jewish settlers occupying Palestinian land. All are armed. They terrorize Palestinians on a daily basis, and no one, that is, no one, can do anything about it. Israeli apartheid and genocide simply go on. Here is Saif, dancing with friends at a wedding. He will not be able to dance at his own wedding. There will be no marriage, no bride, no more dancing, and no freedom for Palestine. Just occupation, apartheid, and genocide.
The U.S. Council on Muslim Organizations, or USCMO, is demanding that Georgetown University immediately reinstate Dr. Jonathan Brown as chair of Islamic civilization. They say he was unfairly targeted after a congressional hearing led by anti-Muslim lawmakers accused Brown of supporting Iran in a now-deleted tweet about U.S. airstrikes. The group says his post, which called for a symbolic and non-lethal Iranian response to avoid war, was misrepresented. Georgetown's interim president, Robert Groves, removed Brown from his post and is considering further action. USCMO calls the move a cowardly response to political pressure and says it endangers academic freedom. It warns that Brown is being punished for opposing Israel's violence in Gaza and supporting Palestinian rights. The group says such actions threaten free speech and set a dangerous precedent in academia. They urge Georgetown to show moral courage and restore Brown's position without delay. An Israeli tank shell struck Gaza's only Catholic church Thursday, killing 2 elderly women and wounding several others, including the parish priest. The Holy Family Catholic Church in Gaza City was hit on Thursday morning as heavy shelling rocked the Al Zaytun neighborhood. Debris from the blast injured the Reverend Gabriel Romanelli, an Argentine priest known for briefing Pope Francis on Gaza. The explosion struck a tent inside the church courtyard where civilians had sought shelter. More than 500 Palestinian Christians had been taking refuge there. This is the second deadly attack on Gaza's Christian community. In December, Israeli snipers killed 2 women at the same church. Another strike on the nearby St. Porphyrius Orthodox Church killed 18 displaced civilians. Ghazala Hashmi becomes the first Muslim and Indian American nominated for statewide office in Virginia, leading GOP rival John Reed in early polls. Details coming up next.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We welcome you all to the Mona Convention.
Join thousands of Muslims from across the nation, uniting for a powerful calling to be the torchbearers of Islam.
Unity is power.
We center Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything else, my dear brothers and sisters, becomes centered.
It starts inside of us. We are the change.
Put the man together and the world will automatically come together.
Teach the recitation of the Quran, teach hikmah, purified mankind, purified the society.
This is how they lived their lives. A life of devotion, of beautifulness, of faithfulness, of commitment to Allah Azza wa Jalla.
So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us a community of leadership, a community that holds this amana, this trust of this beautiful message, a community that stands for good, that enjoins good, that forbids evil, together, that honors its elders, that inspires its youth. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to continue the youth movement.
August 8th through 10th at the Pennsylvania Convention Center. 3 days to recharge your soul, to connect, reflect, and grow. This is more than a convention. This is a call. Register now at www.munaconvention.com.
Israel has killed at least 93 Palestinians in attacks on Gaza over the past 24 hours. 30 of them were civilians waiting for food aid. In Gaza City, Israel killed 8 people who were trying to collect aid. 4 more were killed in an Israeli airstrike on a residential apartment in Zaytun. In central Gaza, 5 people, including women and children, were killed in a drone strike on tents for displaced families in Burej refugee camp. Meanwhile, 2 Israeli soldiers were injured in an attack in Shuja'iyah. UNICEF says an average of 28 children die daily in Gaza. More than 17,000 children have already been killed. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed more than 64,000 Palestinians, the majority of them women, children, and the elderly, according to a major study published in the British medical journal The Lancet in January. Israel faces war crimes charges at the International Criminal Court and a genocide case at the International Court of Justice. Massacres have rocked Syria's southern province of Sweida, where Israeli-backed Druze militias reportedly killed civilians, including women and children. Syria's state media reports that the killings were carried out after government forces withdrew as part of a ceasefire deal. The media accused the groups of field executions in Al-Maqus neighborhood. More than 500 people have been killed since last weekend, including 154 civilians and 243 government troops, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. Israel launched repeated airstrikes hitting the presidential palace and military buildings in Damascus and Daraa. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claimed that the ceasefire in Sweida was obtained by force. Interim President Ahmed al-Shara accused Israel of trying to divide Syria, while Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan condemned the attacks, calling them a regional threat. Syria's Health Minister Musallet Ali blamed Israeli aircraft for preventing a medical convoy from reaching Sweida. He said airstrikes are targeting any moving vehicle, including the 15 ambulances and trucks carrying medical supplies. Israel claims its actions are aimed at protecting the Druze minority. Zionist and Hindu nationalist trolls are leading a wave of online sexual and casteist abuse against Free-Palestine student activists in the U.S. New York-based investigative journalist Sama Kholar reports horrifying threats aimed at young women speaking out for Palestine. At Columbia University, Muslim student Maryam Iqbal received hundreds of rape threats and was doxxed after her campus activism. She was suspended, evicted from housing, and later harassed by anonymous Columbia-linked accounts threatening to create deepfake pornography. Other activists, including Palestinian, Indian, and Jewish anti-Zionist women, have also been targeted. Experts say the online attacks reflect a misogynistic obsession with silencing dissent through sexual terror. Activists say university authorities remain largely unresponsive to the abuse. A mother is suing Chicago public schools, claiming her daughter endured years of sexual, verbal, and racial abuse at Wildwood IB World Magnet School. Sharon Hinton says her daughter, now 13, was targeted since 5th grade when she was just 10. The girl was the only Black student in her class. She was bullied, mocked for her appearance, and called racist names. A teacher allegedly hit her with a clipboard. Another is accused of inappropriate touching. Despite repeated complaints, Hinton says the school failed to act. The lawsuit says the bullying became so extreme that her daughter became suicidal and had to be hospitalized. Attorneys are demanding student training and a CPS office to investigate bullying. Chicago Public Schools says it will not comment on ongoing litigation, but is committed to student safety. City officials in Palo Alto, California, may soon require staff to attend anti-bias training on antisemitism and Islamophobia. The move follows growing concerns Jewish, Muslim, and Arab residents in the wake of Israel's ongoing genocide in Gaza. They report feeling unsafe due to rising local incidents of hate. The Human Relations Commission has proposed a 2-hour training session led by the Islamic Networks Group and Project Shima, a Jewish organization. While the session is optional, residents and activists argue it must be mandatory to have real impact. Some also worry the program could blur criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism. Final decisions are pending and feedback is being reviewed. Virginia Senator Ghazala Hashmi has won the Democratic nomination for Lieutenant Governor. She is the first Muslim and Indian American ever nominated for statewide office in Virginia. Hashmi defeated 5 other Democrats in a tight race, edging out LeVar Stoney by less than 1%. Hashmi is a 2-term state senator and former literature professor. In the Senate, she championed access to contraception and reproductive rights. She will now face Republican John Reed, a conservative talk show host and the first openly gay nominee for statewide office from the GOP. Reed secured the Republican nomination after his primary opponent dropped out. Polls show Hashmi leading Reed 46% to 36%. Bangladesh is set to create its largest bank by assets through a major Islamic bank merger. The central bank has proposed combining 5 lenders into one giant entity with assets worth more than $18.1 billion. Officials say the move is part of a broader effort to consolidate the banking sector and reduce financial risks. This is especially after recent loan scandals under the previous government of Sheikh Hasina. Analysts believe the restructuring could boost financial stability and reshape market competition. Islamic banks currently hold nearly 23% of all deposits in the country. Japanese scientists have discovered a secret weapon in plants that could revolutionize drought resistance. Experts say that as climate change worsens, this breakthrough could lead to more resilient, water-efficient farming in drought-prone regions. A tiny motor protein called myosin 11 has been found to help plants shut their leaf pores to conserve water. Researchers from Waseda University studied mutant plants lacking this protein. They found that those plants lost water up to 4 times faster and struggled to survive dry conditions. The protein works with the stress hormone ABA to trigger internal responses, helping leaves react faster under drought. Experts say the study, published in Plant Cell Reports, opens new doors for engineering crops that can withstand extreme heat and dryness. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.